Welcome to RebelWatch, everybody. My name is Henry Stuart, joined by Mariah Evans, and we are here, and we have the pleasure to be joined up alongside Zhaun Stribling, wide receiver here for the Ole Miss Rebels football team. Now, Zhaun, you played at a lot of places in your career. What is so special about Ole Miss, and why make the jump from Stillwater, Oklahoma to Oxford, Mississippi?
I just want to win. That's why I came here, to win games, playing in some big games, score a lot of points, and just be a part of something special.
Yeah.
Does that any NFL player that you model your game after you?
I couldn't really say one person. Growing up, I watched a lot of DK just because of him being so physical. I feel like that's kind of like not a common trend in for receivers, you know what I mean? But the ability to be able to block and, dominate is just something that I work forward to.
Obviously you mentioned DK Metcalf there. Obviously he was an Ole Miss Rebel. Did that have any kind of factor on your decision to come here?
I would not really, because he's so long ago, you know what I mean? But just really just want to come and win, you know what I mean? Just look at the numbers and the offense and what Coach Kippen does, and I just want to be a part of something special.
Yeah.
You mentioned Coach Kippen. Can you describe some of his unique coaching styles?
Just certain things that we do in practice, like the competition drills. It's very relaxed here in a sense. You know what I mean? It's very serious, but we also have a lot of fun. So I feel like that's very different. You know what I mean? I haven't been a part of a program like that where you can be serious but also have fun at the same time.
Yeah, you kind of have the opportunity to play now under two kind of legends in college football. Played under the great Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State, now under Lane Kiffin, who's quickly become one of the best coaches in the sport. How has that kind of impacted you and your development, and even to an extent your personal life, you as a person as you've gotten older?
I would say just learning, you know what I mean? Just taking certain things from them, you know what I mean? They're very smart guys, you know what I mean? How they carry themselves and how they're so presentable. So I just feel like just taking certain things from them, applying it in my life, how I can get better, how I can be more mature in a sense.
How would you define success on and off the field?
I would say just progress, little wins, you know what I mean? You can't really measure it in the big scheme of everything, as stats or wins. It's just small things, like going into college, I would say into college, I was very bad at like public speaking or even just like kind of holding conversations. But, over time, got a lot better. So I would say that successful, little wins, it just sort of goes like that.
And if you had told me that you had problems with public speaking, I would have known, because you've done terrific so far. You're a natural. Being at Ole Miss, you kind of running that fast-paced, kind of up-tempo, kind of spread offense, kind of similar to what you saw at Oklahoma State. The playbooks being similar did that. How was that adjustment for you, coming from, kind of that Oklahoma State offense going into, Charlie Weiss Jr. and Lane Kiffin and that offense?
It was a little adjustment in the sense of conditioning. We kind of huddled a little more back at OK State, but here it's just fast tempo, get lined up quick, you know what I mean? So it's been a little adjustment, but I feel like I am adjusted well, you know what I mean? Just trying to do my part on the team to help us win. Yeah.
Can you talk about the culture shock you had to go through when you came from Hawaii and all the way to Mississippi?
In a sense, it's kind of the same. A little bit, the Southern hospitality is kind of the same as Hawaiian. Everyone's very welcoming. Here around the town, people say hi to you, open the door for you. You know what I mean? It's the same way back in Hawaii. So it hasn't been that much of a difference other than just like the trees, you know what I mean? The areas like that, we have no like water like I got back home and food, but really it's just, it's the same kind of vibe and the same welcomeness here that it is back home.
Speaking of vibes, you played this past weekend, your former team, granted not the same coaching staff, probably not the same players, but what was that kind of like, playing against Washington State where you started your career, kind of at like your final destination?
It was a blessing. I look at it as, it's all God. I started there a long time ago with no real big picture of where I would be now. So it's a blessing to see, what God has done for me in my life and where I am now and opportunity that I have now.
Do you have any free game rituals?
Not really. I kind of just go with the flow a little bit. I wear a leg before every game. My mom makes me a leg. So that's kind of like a ritual thing. Just try to go to sleep early, try to be relaxed, try not to get too high or too low. Just stay steady.
You got some really big games coming up, obviously this weekend, college game day at Georgia, then at Oklahoma, probably some bigger games than what you were used to at Washington State, Oklahoma State. How would you kind of prepare for those games mental?
Ball is ball. No matter what, I'm going to go out there and do my job and play with great effort. So ball is ball. It doesn't matter the stage or where it's at, Georgia, Oklahoma, or in a partner rob. You know what I mean? We're going to go out there and do our thing, play with great effort.
Throughout your football career, have you had any football mentors or anybody who just influenced you?
Yeah, so when I first got into college, one of my roommates, his name was Jaden Delora. I mean, he was a big mentor of me just because he was already there. So he kind of showed me the ropes and how to act, how to conduct business. And also another one, he played receiver, and his Vinkin Victor. Play with him, and he was just a technician. So he showed me that, it's not always about talent, you know what I mean? You got to have great fundamentals, know your alignment, know defenses, and that really help you transform my game.
Now, you're part of a pretty fast Ole Miss receiving core. You hit 22 miles an hour in a game last year at Oklahoma State. How do you feel that speed that you bring to the table is different and makes you stand out?
Well, we have very fast guys in our receiver room. So I hit 22, but I'm pretty sure Deuce is probably hitting 24 or something. I mean, that boy's fast, but it's just, it's just trying to do my part. I'm a bigger guy, so I guess it's a little more impressive running that fast, but just try to do what I could do.
Is there any advice?
Praise God, keep your head down, and someday, one day, it's going to be everything that you wish for. Sure, keep working hard at it, and it's all going to work out eventually.
Thank you so much. This has been Zhaun Stribling, and signing off for Rebel Watch. I'm Henry Stuart, joined by Mariah and Stuart. Zhaun, thank you so much again for your time. For sure. Thank you guys.